thank you for giving me and the Massachusetts National Guard the opportunity to speak today. In the military, history is very important, and there are certain events in the unit's heritage that define its character and shape its decade. When we, as the nation's first, talk about defining moments in our history as a National Guard, we call back the first muster in 1636, where the 1st National Guard joined together to defend the nation and conquered Massachusetts. As we progress throughout the decades, we look back on milestones like battles and successful missions, but we also revere tragedies, moments that mark time with an image or a feeling. 60 years ago yesterday, Barnes Air National Guard Base was forever marked by a tragedy that unfolded. On a day filled with celebration and excitement, as the base was beginning its transformation from a small flying field to what would later become one of the most important strategic locations in the Northeast for homeland defense, spectators watched in dismay as 2 aircraft collided above the changing Westfield landscape and took the lives of 2 heroic aviators. The stories of that day didn't disappear. For generations, people recounted that day. There are references to it in yearbooks, historical records, and in the stories that are told throughout the Barnes Air National Guard Base and the 104th Fighter Wing. You can see images of the flyover and the enlisted club in the Fighter Squadron bar today. The lives of Lieutenant Danell and Captain Stevens have not been forgotten by the men and women of the 104th Fighter Wing. But now this day will be remembered in time by the lives of those heroes, but in a different context. They will be remembered by the stories of how these men were remembered, about the connections these families now have with the city of Westfield, and specifically the Perez family. This day will be marked by this beautiful monument behind us, and the remainder of that dedication, service, and honor, our timeless virtues, marked by the 2 lives of these 2 heroes. Today, as we look upon this marble reminder of their lives, we celebrate what they stood for, why they served their country. We see their families here and appreciate the strength of these men's character, that it was not forgotten in these fields, and that their strength has carried on. We celebrate the efforts of Mark Perez, Leo Dube, and Dorothy Foley for their efforts to make sure this ground will forever be marked by the lives of these 2 heroes. I will leave you with one quote from Joan of Arc. "Every man gives his life for what he believes. One life is all we have to live, and we live it according to what we believe." These 2 gentlemen certainly did that. Their character, their spirit remains with the family members we see here today. And once again, I want to thank you for letting me be part of this event and part of the history that we will never forget as members of the Massachusetts Air National Guard, and specifically the men and women of the 104th Fighter Wing. Thank you for letting me be part of this today.
Now representing Westover Air Reserve Base, please welcome the Vice Commander